Hi guys, this is Chris Kovacs, Regional Sales Consultant in Northeastern Florida from Tobii Dynavox. Today what we're going to try and quickly cover is how to assemble a manual wheelchair mount. So I'm going to do the best I can. I actually don't have all of the pieces that you would normally get in that assembly, nor do I have an actual wheelchair. So I'm going to ask you guys to have to visualize a couple things with me today, but I want to get you the information to try and help you get that set up on your manual chairs. So the first thing we're going to start with is a quick overview of the parts. For most manual chairs, you're going to get a part that looks like this. This is a 1-inch frame clamp. So round tube, 1 inch in diameter, is going to be able to be clamped with this to give us our starting point on the chair. If you have a chair that came with reduction sleeves, they look like this. That means you might have a chair that has 7/8 inch tubing or 3/4 inch tubing. Typically, whenever we quote one of these chairs out, we measure the chair tubing before ordering, but if we're uncertain, we may order with those sleeves attached or included in the order, just in case. So you may or may not use them. But what you want to look at whenever you're assembling one of these is to take that initial piece apart. And if you can imagine that this is one of the frames on my wheelchair, what I want to show is that you're checking the diameter here. So you can see that these tubes, these pieces of metal here are actually touching as I assemble that. That means that this is too small, right? I don't have, I'm going to need one of these reduction sleeves. So because I can turn the tube, no matter how tight I get this whole thing's going to rotate. What we should see is a gap on each side here if we've installed this properly once it's tight. And it's the clamping force of those pieces coming together that actually hold our mounting system to the tube, right? So what you would do is take one of these sleeves, insert it into this end, get your tube, and this is actually the wrong sleeve. I would be using one of these sleeves, which as you can see is much thinner as a reduction point. So I take one of these, I lie it in there, I come up to my tube, I put the other one on, and I would start to get frame tight. And as you'll see, now when I start to clamp together, I have a fairly large gap there. And I'm just going to keep tightening that up, and that means I have the right size tube assembled. So that's initially how you're going to go through getting this onto your horizontal tube on your wheelchair. Now the tube may be directly below the seat or maybe down farther. That's going to be completely up to you to find out what's going to have the least amount of obstruction and the easiest path to get the device where we need it to go. So imagine that I have this frame clamp attached down here somewhere, and then we're going to build our mount up and over for someone who's going to be accessing a device via touch. So I'm probably going to try and put this right at about this level, waist level, and we're going to go from there. So with this being assembled, what I'm going to do is kind of move these parts and pieces out of the way. So if this were attached to my chair, something like this, I'm now going to locate this piece here. All right, so what this will actually allow me to do is clip in here so that I'll be attached to my chair. And now I can take a tube from wherever I'm at and I can slide it in. And your tubes may be varying lengths. All I have are 3 of the same length tubing. So you're probably going to have a shorter tube. That's normally the one we use down here to kind of get us away from obstructions like brakes or other fasteners or attachments on the wheelchair. But you can use whatever tubes work best for your solution. There is no right or wrong way regarding which tubes to use where. You can use them in any configuration that you need. So you're going to figure out what's going to get you kind of out and away so that we can start to build the mount from here. So once we have that figured out, I don't have a bolt for this particular piece, but you would just simply tighten this down using your 5mm Allen key that comes included with the kit. You tighten this piece down and it would then be stable on your chair, something like that. So with that being assembled, what I'm then going to do is I'm going to find this piece with a large black lever on it. Okay, so this is our 2-tube coupling bottom with lever. If you ever need to call into our home office and order another one. What you are going to do here is going to use this side, and you're going to insert the tube like that. All right. So what this will allow us to then do is build up vertically and then over with the device. So with this being in place, if you have it where you want it, you can actually go inside here with your Allen key and tighten this bolt up here and snug it up in place. And I actually didn't snug that enough. You will have to snug it more than that. And one thing to make certain is that this black lever closes into the back direction, right? The key for this is if it was spun the other way, anyone walking by or as we're traveling through a doorway, you could potentially catch that and open the lever and release the device to either swing or become unstable. So we want to make sure that this closes to the backwards section of the chair. All right, so now I need to talk about a piece that I actually don't have to show you guys. It goes with this vertical tube. So we would have a vertical tube here. But what you'll notice right now is that I don't have any way of stopping this tube. With this lever open, it would simply fall to the ground. And with the device above it, that's something we want to completely avoid. So within your kit, there's actually a small piece that looks like a little circular donut. It has a hole in the center, and on the underside of it, there is a location for a pinhole, and then a grooved location as well. That pinhole can attach here to allow the mount to never move out of location, or you can attach the groove to allow the device to actually swing 90 degrees. What you need to do is determine the height that you need this vertical tube to be, slide the donut over top of the tube, and secure it in place using the Allen key. All right, there is a bolt on the side of that donut that you can just snug up. Depending on if you installed it with the pin being engaged in the singular hole or in the track, is going to again determine whether or not you can twist this or move this 90 degrees. What I recommend is if you are planning on doing this to allow the device to swing 90 degrees, install it into the track section on that donut, and then rotate at this point where the device would be actually coming into the client's location. So it would be in the closed position. So as we build our mount, we're building it in that closed position. So in the future, when we want to swing it away, it rotates 90 degrees outward. If you install it backwards, when you test it, it'll actually swing 90 degrees towards the patient, which is not what we want. All right. So with those things installed, your donut is going to act as your safety stop, right? You have that tightened, and that means even with that lever loose, you wouldn't be allowed to slide the lever any lower than where you have that donut positioned. So imagine that I do have that donut positioned right here in this location, and my mount is attached to my chair. What I can do from here is take my 2-tube coupling with no lever. I'm going to loosen this up a little bit, and I'm now going to install this here. So depending on whichever configuration I want, I can use my other tubes and install this so now it's out in front of the patient. Once I determine the angles and everything that I need, I might be coming back, loosening some things up, adjusting the tilt, adjusting how close it is to the patient, where I want it to swing, left or right, up or down. It's going to be completely unique to each individual user. But if I'm just kind of roughly getting this into shape, and again, this would all be done on the wheelchair, not like I'm doing it right here. It would all be physically attached and you would be building it up piece by piece. So if I had it something like that, that's going to put me right about above the knees, waist height, so someone can still see over the device but still look down to access it. The last thing we would need to do, loosen the black lever on our 2-lever device holder, slip it over the side here to the location that we need it, tighten it up, and then use the front lever to adjust the fine-tune angle of the device itself. So from here, we would have a mount that would be installed something like that right above the knees for someone using maybe a tablet device or something along those lines. From here, we would want to check our rotation and explain how to remove the mounting system. Again, if we were traveling in a vehicle and we didn't want this mount attached, we would simply loosen our black lever, and the device would either, if you have the groove installed to rotate properly, you would then be able to open this 90 degrees to help with transferring in and out of the chair, or completely lift it out and set it to the side. This piece down here will always stay attached to the chair, so that's something to keep in mind. Whenever you're ready to reassemble, It's as simple as sliding the tube back in and closing the black lever. Okay. I hope this helps, guys. If you have any other questions, please feel free to let us know or call our 1-800 number at 1-800-344-1778. Thanks, have a great day.